What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today we have a really special guest in the building. Listen, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a producer, he's an actor, he's an impersonator, and listen, he's a founding member of Dancehall's greatest group ever. We're talking T.O.K. You know, we have in the building today, we have Alex in the building today. What's going on, my brother?
Big up. I'm here, you must big up yourself and big up to all your listeners and all those who are supporting your thing, man. All those who are supporting your platform. Big up everybody, you know. Happy 2021. You know, we live through one more crazy year. It just seems to get crazier, but hey, you know, as long as you're here, you give God thanks for that. You know what I mean?
You understand, because 2020 was interesting and it doesn't seem like 2021 is easing up anytime soon, but we still have to just go through and make things happen. Most
definitely. You know, you can't afford to stop, you know, that's a key thing. My philosophy is always, especially now more than ever, adapt or die. It's as simple as that.
You understand 1000%. You understand? Definitely. All right. How we do on this program here, I usually like to go right from the beginning and bring it up right till now. All right?
All right.
First question I got for you. What part of Jamaica did you grow up in, and what actually attracted you to music in the first place?
I grew up in Portmore, that's St. Catherine in Jamaica, like right next to the capital, I guess, Kingston. What attracted me to music? That's the funniest thing, because you mentioned something in the intro, and I think that is the best way to kind of explain my attraction to music. Ever since I was little, I actually loved impersonating and impersonation. And I used to mimic some of my favorite artists. Well, my favorite personal artist. Those who know me know that Michael Jackson is my favorite artist, right? So, sorry. So from day one, I used to try. I couldn't dance like him, definitely, you know, but I try my best to kind of sing like him, because when I told people that, listen, when I try to dance like Michael, it come in like when I try to moonwalk, it's like I have bubblegum on the bottom of my shoes, you know? So, yeah, it's going to be one of those days where you're going to probably be laughing a lot. I can tell you that from now.
Hey, it's all good.
You know, so because of that, I used to practice like Michael Jackson, El DeBarge, Tony Braxton, Anita Baker, you know, for it would be like a low female or a high male voice, that kind of tone, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I used to practice to sing like him, and I'm from trying to sing like Michael, I kind of developed my own sound. And I guess to some extent people say, oh, your voice stick out, you know, can't miss your voice, the T.O.K, that can't hear hide. And I say, I give thanks. So through that, I created my unique sound, and I give thanks for that. So I guess the many kids the many influences that Michael Jackson had, from the Cisco to the Genuine to the Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, Usher, Chris Brown, I fall under that same category where I was influenced by his music and by his legacy as well. So that is how it basically started. So from impersonation, I impersonate my friends in school, impersonate my grandmother, impersonate those different voices and mimicry, which I think sometimes people who practice voice training tell you that the best way to actually start when it comes down to singing is through mimicry, because we all as human beings mimic what we hear, sounds that we hear growing up. That's even with language, that's how we actually start as well. So
you're 100% right on that. And you mentioned a name, Michael Jackson. What was it about Michael Jackson opposed to everybody else you've seen that you said, this is the man right here?
Honestly, Michael is the standard. Michael is the standard when it comes on to music, to performing, to you know, production, you know, in terms of even at that time, he was the standard when it came down to even making videos and stuff like that. So he just had a huge impression on me, you know what I mean? Like, funny enough, even when like I have a new stereo or you get like a car, for me personally, using a Michael's record, use any Michael song to test sonics of the car, to test the sound of whatever, because even back then, the way his records would sound, hit you right here, you know, all that kind of stuff. So he was just amazing. When I saw him, I was like, yo, that's it. That's the standard. That is what I would want to achieve. And you know what I mean? Because it's always good to have goals, you know. You understand? You don't want to be like him. You want to make sure that you can have the same success. You are revered and respected as whole. His body of work was respected. Michael, stemming from the Jackson 5, you know, it's it just seemed like a right fit for me, like personally. And the hard work and the accolades he got just seem to match because him work hard, and because him work hard and him getting whatever, people recognize his talent. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. What would you say is your favorite Michael Jackson, either song or video, and
Wow.
why?
Wow. Favorite song. It's hard to tell you a favorite song. I probably have like a top 5. I don't really have a favorite.
Okay, give me the top 5 starting from 5 to 1.
Okay, well, 5 to 1 in no order in terms of favorite, by the way. It's just 5 of my favorite songs from Michael. Human Nature, Lady in My Life. You see, it gets tricky already. As already, it already is tricky because so many. So many. I like Stranger in Moscow. I like wow, this is a tough one. I was not expecting this question because I listen to all his songs, and all of his songs personally have a One Day in Your Life. Or Can You Feel It with the Jackson 5. You know? Wow. So it's too many. It's too many.
But you just gave me the top 5 there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard because at the end of the day, for me, everyone hits you differently. And that is what I think, for me, what I want to emulate in my music. That you bring across different emotions to people. Make you smile, make you cry, make you think, make you want to party. You know, all the different emotions that are out there, all different spectrum of emotions that you can possibly feel with any song. Because that is how you know you really reach somebody. You understand what I'm saying? That's how you know you really reach them. So, yeah.
All right. And visual now, what would you say would be a Michael Jackson visual where you said, okay, you know what, I like this?
It would have to be Thriller. It have to be, Thriller, I think, was the starting point and the benchmark. I mean, Earth Songs too. Earth Songs. But I think by that time, Michael had already set the precedent. He had already set the standard. You know what I mean? But Thriller, I think, really put him. It does. I don't know. That would be Thriller.
Yeah.
That would be Thriller. That wasn't a music video. That was a movie for me. You understand? And I remember being so little back then, you know. And I remember when it was premiering, I couldn't get a chance to watch it because I was too small. You know, my mother was like, "Hey, no, you can't watch this. You know, this is going to give you nightmares and stuff." I said, "No, Mama, good, blah blah blah." And she wouldn't make me watch it. But you know, I mean, it for what it was at that time, it set the standard, it set the bar for everything that was done. You understand? So
And remember, at this time, all of this is in your mind here. So as a kid coming up now, this Michael Jackson, what you've seen, what you heard, it's implanted in your mind. We got that part there. So then now you like to joke around, impersonate, and all that stuff there. So when did you really find your voice and started to actually say, you know what, this is what I want to pursue right here?
I guess to some extent it was trial and error, because I mean it was Michael was always a consistent sound I would have with my voice, and that tone, because I tell people my voice hasn't really changed to some extent from I was like 17, 18, you know, just that tone. So a lot of my music and a lot of the song, especially at that time, you know, I was in the choir at during high school as well, so singing on the choir is like, it just kind of happened, you know what I mean? Amidst all the impersonating and the comedy and the joking around is a part of my personality, you know what I mean? Because I believe at the end of the day, life is too short for you to be serious all the time. So you have to kind of have that balance in terms of how you deal with certain things, you know what I mean? But for me, it just happened. It just developed into it because, as I said to you before, that sound that I have, it just kind of just happened. Trial and error, practicing, and trying to get it this way. I mean, you know, like, I realize even though in certain songs I may kind of sing like him, I still have my own unique sound about it, you know, like how even with the Weekend here, how you doing the West Mood? You know, it's like, that to me, I can sing in my sleep. Yeah. You know what I mean? That tone, that sound is nothing for me to do, you know what I mean? But you still want people to can separate yourself, even though you may have that as a standard and have that as what you're striving for. There already is a Michael. You understand what I'm saying? You know, so I want to be the best. I try to, especially now as you get older, you want to try to become the best version of yourself. If that make any sense.
100% agree.
Yeah.
1000% agree.
Yeah, so
all right here.
Yeah.
Makes sense. When did you meet Flex?
Well, I've known Flex all my life basically because he lived on the same road I did. So I was at number 12 and he was at I was at 3 and he was at number 12. So we grew up as neighbors, something the brain chip. But yeah, we were neighbors and growing up used to play football and just them time run Nintendo and stuff and Flex had a bicycle and my parents they wouldn't give me a bicycle because them say too dangerous. Yo, you see when parents sometimes overprotective is a hell of a thing, but but yeah, we run Nintendo and play a game and then when you're young, the man they used to run both. Like when you run like like, all right, me have some flour, you have some mackerel, you have this and that. But Flex would never wash the dishes. Flex would have never wash the dishes. Flex eat, and as soon as Flex eat, Flex cut. He not cut. That was the worst. The whole I wash the dishes.
Yeah.
First to arrive and first to cut. Those are the days, boy, I tell you. But you sometimes realize as a child, and you grow up now, you realize that you would never change that for the world, that whole experience and where you go. Because I think it helps to make you who you are now. You know what I mean? It's fun times, man. Fun times.
100% agreed. So even meeting Flex now, so then, because I know you and Flex were originally in a group together.
Yeah, we were. Well, you read your research, man. We were I guess you call us the starters of T.O.K. in a sense, because we used to sing together, call ourselves Too Cool.
Yeah.
And that was a carny thing, because man used to say, "Yo, too cool," you mean on the too fool. You know what I mean? So it was like, but it stemmed from that, because Basie and I and Craig went to high school together, and Flex and I lived on the same road. And even though Basie and Flex went to prep school together, I guess the connection wasn't really made until we went to high school. Like me, when I went to high school, I linked up with Basie. Basie was in my class, and then, the dawn of the boy band. You have the you have the Boys to Men. Sorry about that. Boys to Men. You have Shy, then you have the NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and all that kind of stuff. And we're like, yo, let's form out. We I was actually in the Campion choir, and because at first, when you go to school, I started with volleyball, but then choirs where the girls were. So I was like, okay, I think I need to go where the girls are. So yeah, seemed like the most logical thing to do. So singing Campion choir, and starting there, and then we wanted to form a group, and there was a group that was already in there. There was an older set of guys, and they're like, no, we don't want you to join our group. So we're like, all right, let's form a group ourselves. And brought in Basie and Craig too as well, and then Flex used to come. Like he'd come, because he went to Calabar, he'd come sometimes after school and he'd come, let's come trouble the girls and just want to be a part of it. And from that, and we had one or two members come and go, but from that kind of formed the foundation and the basis of what T.O.K. was and what your people were.
Makes sense, yeah. Because even with your first group, before we even get all the way to T.O.K., what made you and Flex decide to even form a group in the first place?
Just I love for singing. I mean, I remember a lot of times growing up back in the day, we hear like music playing on the radio, and you would record. You would record the music that you hear on the radio, like tape it, and then you play it back. And you sometimes, especially where you have to kind of time it so you don't get Fame FM. You have to try to time it because you don't want to get that. You have to try. All right, so when there's a Fame FM, then when to start it over. So if you want to have a consistent one song, you have to be like Fame FM, and then and there's like when they come back around to the same part, you kind of try to time it, and you press record again. It was crazy. And then sometimes if you want to practice a song, you record and then you practice it off or you have off of the radio. It was crazy them time, man. Just simpler, but it was still fun. You know what I mean? I think you learn to appreciate stuff a lot more during that kind of stuff.
You're 100% right. And how long did you guys actually do Too Cool for?
No, it was no long period of time, to be honest. It was like maybe a couple of months, because I guess it was a situation where I personally, I like harmony. I like the group dynamic and I guess they said soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, bass. I like to hear that stacked sound. So especially for me, I like the merging of voices like that. I think it's really awesome. And I remember sometimes we'll be like, have a room that had some acoustics, like a very big empty room, where you start singing and you hear it's just a thing that it does to me, it moves me, you know what I mean? So I've always loved that. So from that, it was just that was it for me. I just wanted to form that group. I wanted to have that sound, you know what I mean? Especially when I heard us really connect like that after a while, I was like, yo, I think this thing can really work. And I started to really actually believe in it, you know? So much so that, it's like, you forsake all other stuff because you just want to focus on this, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Makes sense. And with the why did you guys decide to choose Craig and Basie to join the group and figure that this would be a good addition to the group?
Well, for the bass, it would have been Rashawn. His bass wasn't fully formed yet, but it was forming, you know what I mean? As with all of us, we developed a sound over a period of time, because we had to have a bass, you know what I mean? And there's another guy who was in the group, was Adam. Adam was sort of really, really, really deep voice, but we're like, yeah, it worked because I think especially Rashawn was kind of getting more versatile. It's not about singing deep, but we were experimenting with music. And I guess even with Craig too. Craig had a very smooth, like a smooth baritone type voice. You know what I mean? That sound that almost at that mid to low range. You know what I mean? So he provided that foundation for the group at that point in time. It was just a matter of, I don't want to say divine intervention that happened, that these were the specific people that were chosen. And I was at that point in time had a specific love and a passion for music, that we didn't even know fully enough ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it was awesome. This was awesome. I was like, wow, we really can do this and we really can do this, So I was like, yeah, let's do it. That was it.
And even the name T.O.K, was that something you guys formed together as a group? Somebody had it? How did that even come out?
I think it would be probably more between me and Flex, because we called ourselves Touch of Class. I was Touch of Class with a K, and then the acronym itself T.O.K, you know what I mean? So it formed from that, because we wanted to say, you have a little touch of something that is nice and decent thing, but you also have a certain little edge to whatever it is. It's just a touch. You understand? Just a little bit. Just that mixture that makes it unique. It's one set thing. And I think the more we developed our sound, the more we practiced, the more even though we're influenced by the R&B and the acapella song, we also were influenced by the dancehall because we're Jamaican. So I think, I guess, over time, you couldn't have been a situation where you have straight R&B coming from Jamaica, because that wouldn't be true to you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like growing up, watching MTV and the BETs, and even though we were watching that kind of stuff, and the influence of the dancehall, you kind of, through that whole mixing, you kind of created your own unique sound. You get me? And that was the gist of it. And that, I guess, that worked at that point in time for us, and created our own unique sound that, even up to today has not really fully been duplicated, which we give thanks for, you know what I mean? Because that song is us, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It hasn't been duplicated. You'll have other groups that are out there. And I'm saying this not to be facetious or to be conceited or whatever, but it's like I tell people that T.O.K is unique in the sense that we can do, like, for example, what a Boyz II Men and a Backstreet Boys can do. Probably not necessarily dancing, but the singing, like in terms of the harmonies and stuff, we can do what they do, but they can't do what we do. You understand that kind of way? So it keeps you in a very unique position. Even in terms of some of the DJs out here, because we can DJ too, but they still can't do what we do. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it keeps you very unique. You have all these different elements. You have singers, you have those who can harmonize, because we can sing an a cappella song. I remember sometimes we've been on stage and the rhythm don't come yet. And we're like, all right. Should-up, shooby-doo, should-up, shooby-doo. And still keeping the crowd engaged until the rhythm chip in. You know what I mean? Where they get the harmonies. I remember sometimes if you've been in the airports and, with on a flight, and we're like, yo, let's drop on there lays on the PA system here. Bing, boom. And, it's a different thing where being in a plane and just singing, Even back in the day, something I personally never used to like. Remember back in the day, like we were practicing and stuff and at school and doing everything, even on my father's rooftop I practice. I remember once we were practicing and we say, on the road and we're hungry. We're on the road and we're hungry, and it's like, we say, we want some food. And the man say, come go sing for it. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. let us basically think. I'm like, all right, cool. And the man them back out. You know, like, when you go in New York subway system, I used to like guys who back out a cap and then basically back out the cap and you put it to the side of the road and it's like put it down and start singing. And we did that in Jamaica by Stavrin, and we did that up by in Portmore, and you know, it was just crazy for me because I'm hiding behind the cap like this, like, yo, so let me see the year, Lord, let me see the but you know, but it worked. People come and them give us money, and we buy like a KFC.
Yeah.
And the man say, hey, you never want to do it though, but yet still, you know, you're reaping the benefits, so you can't complain. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I guess that's a good thing with, you see, when you have natural talent and it's not just about auto tunes and studio and all this stuff, you could actually go on a corner, turn this on, and it actually works right away, just like that. You understand?
You're right. That is the key thing about it.
Yeah.
That is the key thing about it. Being able to have a situation where you, at the flip of a hat, at the tip of a switch, as you said, a drop of a hat, flip of a switch, you are able to tap into that, and it can resonate with people. You get me? That is a good thing. It's a most fulfilling feeling for us. You know what I mean? It's like it work and people like it, so why not work with it? You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Okay, I know on the T.O.K journey here, you guys actually formed the group to go into a contest. All right. So this is your first time actually entering show business, but you guys didn't win the contest. What did that do for you guys' ego and how you actually felt about singing at that point in that contest?
You would feel a little bit defeated, I guess is the right word. I mean, you feel a way because you put in so much work and it's like you're not being recognized as for the hard work that you put in. But at the same time, I think in life, I think a lot of, especially for the nowadays generation, I think it's a lot more important to learn that even if you fail, 7 times fall, 8 times rise. You have to learn how to accept not only the successes in life, but the failures, because that is what helps to make you a better person, make you appreciate the success where it comes that much more, because you have gone through the struggles of failing and falling to get up back again. So, you know, you don't want a situation, because if things come too easy, I think sometimes we as humans and it's human nature, you take it for granted because you don't really know what it is like, you know? You know, I don't believe, this is my personal belief, I don't believe that a child should be rewarded for participating. That is just my personal view. You understand? Because you want to know that in life you have first, second, and third. If you feel, it's okay. It's okay to fail, you know what I mean? Because it's a learning experience, and what we're going to do, we're going to learn from it. We'll push that much harder each time. But you don't want a situation where you are enabling a child and say, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? Obviously, you want to comfort them, but you want to make sure that you let them learn the basics of life to survive. Because in life, when you're not around, there are going to be failures. There are going to be hard times. So you have to learn how to deal with failure just as much as you deal with success. You know, I think it makes somebody a little bit more rounded. Makes you a lot more well-rounded when you can manage both, I think.
Okay, so then I understand failures. You need failures just like you need triumphs and everything just to continue to move forward. So, okay, you guys lost the contest. Where was the first move in you guys' career where you say, okay, you felt triumph now? We lost the career, so then now where's the flip side of the coin?
All right. Well, I mean, after that, you know, I mean, we're doing our thing. You know, we were at a crossroads at one point in time because I was going to school. I was at UTEC, and you know, Craigie T, I think, was working on Dial Insurance at the time, and he decided to quit his job. You know, and Flex and Basie weren't doing anything at that point in time. And they're like, yo, Alex, Craig just quit his job. We are here not doing anything. What you doing? You understand? What are you doing? This is where we're at right now. What are you doing? It's like, I was like, all right. Well, I mean, because trying to balance the schoolwork with the singing, and then sometimes you'll be at school the whole day, then you perform the night, and then by the time you come the next day, you're falling asleep in class. It was more like you're being it's like you're burning the candle at both ends. You understand? So you have to kind of you have to reach a point in life where you have that crossroads where you make that decision and you do what you need to do. And I think that's what happened with me. I was like, all right, this is what I need to do. Let's do it. You know? And it was just, the success would have been where I guess we are, you know what I mean, trying at the studio, you know, you go around there and still at that time, you know, the whole group thing and this and that. And, you know, even when we went around Main Street, Danny Brown, it wasn't really too fully. I mean, he liked the song, but he wasn't really too sold on it per se, because it's something new and used to what I'm doing. And his nephew, Richard James Brown, he was like, yo, you not work with it? Yeah, I work with it. This can work. Let's see what we can do. And you know, so this in the studio. I mean, even though we actually had worked for Sly and Robbie, we actually did Hit 'em High for Sly and Robbie from before, and that was just the introduction of the sound. Then you understand, trying to find a way to merge the dancehall with the acapella and the R&B sound. So I mean, I wouldn't say there's any one set time that really was a full reward. It was more like little things that would add up. And I think, you know, linking with Shams and then even working with Dave Kelly and then getting the first #1, I was like, yo, this thing can work. It's like, it's working. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was pretty cool, you know. So I think that would have been it. The first time I even heard my song on the radio, we actually had done what was it? It was we had sung over Anything For You by 3T. I would do anything for you. And the first time I heard her, I was like, yo, boss. I was like, yeah, you know? Like, yeah, got there, I get there, I come on bridge and run across, I was like, yo, the man I'm playing on the radio. And I was like, yes, you would. And you feel good because you're like, it was such an accomplishment, because it's like all the hard work, all the times that, yo, you're up late at night and, you know, have to take bus, and then nothing is wrong with taking the bus, obviously, but them time you're juvenile and you're just trying so many different things, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you eat little juice and water and bun, and, you know, just trying to break into a market that people were not ready for that yet. That is the key thing. Going into nightclubs when you're underage to go sing. Or we're underage when we're going to the nightclub to go sing. You know what I mean? We look, you still look like some little boy, but you still kind of move like, say, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. You know what I mean? Just going from all of that and that exposure, it really was cool. You know what I mean? It was really cool. It was really something else. And I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't change it for the world. Yo, I remember once, I'll tell you about, I don't know if the guys told you about this one, but I remember once, we have a bus sitting, we were at school, and the group Silk came to Jamaica. Yeah, group. Let me lick you up and down. Them kind of freak me, baby. Them kind of thing. They came to Jamaica, and we were in high school, and they sent out invitations to the different high schools, you know, like for kids to come in and this and that. So we say, yeah, man, we have to go meet Silk and audition and boss. That was the plan, you know. So yeah, can we have it in our head? It was pretty straightforward. You sing for them, they hear the harmony, then we boss. That is it, you know. So we went, and there was a cover charge with the invitation that we never really said that part. We never read the fine print. There's a cover charge, and we say, we don't have money for getting to this thing, brother. How the hell we got? So I don't remember who came with the great idea. All right, let us scale the fence. And say, okay, them tell me when you're young, you're not thinking about the outcome. You just have a mindset where you're going for what you want, and scale the fence. And one get over, it was Marcus at the time. It was 5 of us. Marcus scale the fence and go over, and then base is at the top of the fence. You know, it's barbed wire and scale the fence. You know. And then the security come and say, come back over, bow, and actually started firing shots. I remember, so we were juvenile, you know. And Marcus him just turn back around and it's like bullets. You know, base up there, him panic now and him jump off and split the whole handle. Cut his hand. And we're like, yo, and then the performance was over. We're still there, and it was kind of begged the security guy at the front. Say, listen, we're a group, you know. We just want to meet them to see if we can sing. That's what we weren't really trying to break into whatever to watch a show. We wanted to meet them to just whatever. And then them say, all right, go on. We went in now and we go sing for them and stuff. And the road manager's like, yeah, you guys sound good. Yo, take my number. And a few moments later, nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So it was cool though. It was a cool experience, you know. I mean, I think Rashawn still has a scar on his hand up to this day, but you know, those are the things that I mean. Thank God you survived to be able to can tell the story, you know. But it was, I think, all these different things make you who you are. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like it helps to make you into a stronger, better person, and you appreciate. That's my thing. You know? My thing personally has always been about no matter what step you take in life, always appreciate what you go through, because I think at the end of the day, when you do that, it makes you a better person. It humbles you. You realize that at the end of the day, you need to go through that and be that kind of way. So no matter what comes your way, you're like, all right, cool. You give thanks. You put God first. You give thanks, and you're like, all right, this is what has happened, and through this, I have that, and you appreciate that much more. And that personally, I'm all about that. You know what I mean? That is how I live my life. You know, you're not just for myself, but for my family, for my friends, for people. I try to empower people and I try to encourage people, because it's not just about me. Because I think sometimes the more you encourage somebody, when you're down, they can encourage you. You know what I mean? So it's all about empowerment for each of us, not just for as a people, as human beings. You know what I mean? It's not a black or white issue. It's a people thing. You know what I mean?
Makes total sense, and that's actually a good way of looking at things. I help you, you help me, we help each other, and everybody continues.
Yeah, everybody wins. Everybody wins. A lot of us don't really see that way. A lot of us are selfish by nature, and we are, you know, unappreciative by nature. But there are a few out there who really believe in that kind of stuff. You know, where them appreciate when you put in stuff for them. You get me? So it was a
100% get it. You brought up something, nightclubs. You guys performing in nightclubs, okay? I know
Mhm.
the famous spot you guys always used to perform in was Cactus nightclub.
Yeah, it was Cactus.
All right. Give me your favorite memory and a nightmare that happened in Cactus.
Ooh, all right. Famous memory, Cactus. No. Oh, no. Famous memory. Performing, listen, tell you something, especially with Portmore crowd. You see, I think Portmore has some of the hardest people to please in terms of performing. If you can survive afterward jam at Cactus and them nightclub settings there, you can survive anywhere, because you see Portmore is sting, and you know, that's the whole energy with that kind of stuff. I think we as a people, if you can survive performing for a Jamaican crowd, and you can move a Jamaican crowd, you can move any crowd, because Jamaicans we're very picky, and we love it today, and we just crush it tomorrow, or not even tomorrow. Sometimes up on the same show you get crushed. You understand? So I always tell people that Jamaicans were the best of the best and we're the worst of the worst. We excel at what we do. If it's being good, we excel. If it's being bad, we excel. That is us. Best experience at Cactus would be performing and getting the response from the crowd, especially when you didn't really have many songs at that time. You may have a 1 and 2 song, and you go up and we always used to try to dress and match, like whether it's a LA Lakers jersey or a jean suit or whatever. We always try to make sure that we coordinated like that. You know what I mean? I remember once, funny enough, we were doing like some individual parts, and Flex and I were singing Babyface and John B. I think it was Someone to Love. And after we finished singing that song, a guy come back to them and he's like, yo, I can't sing that song again, you know. Don't make me hear to sing that song again, you know. Because you get my girl too hot. I tell what juvenile, you know. I'm like, sorry, I guess, sorry. You know, sorry, what you can do? There's nothing I can do. I mean, hey, it is what it is. So for the most part, Cactus, we really had some good times in Cactus. I mean, I can't remember many too bad times. I remember performing in Portmore where we had a bad time. It was me. It wasn't even. I think it was a too cool moment. This was a too cool moment. This was before T.O.K. I remember Tex and I, we went over to they had a performance over by the mall, Portmore Mall. And we'll go over there. We said we're gonna perform, me and him. And Flex's voice was going. So I was like, to Flex, I was like, all right, you may start the song, but here what? Your voice not 100 today, no. Make me start it, and then you go. I said, no, I said, brother, you sure? I said, yeah, man, blah, because him want to do it. Jesus. And we're there now, and we're about to go on stage. And I think they called us up, and say, yeah, blah, 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 too cool, or whatever. I don't remember if it was that was the name we used at the time, We'll go up, Flex start. We're doing, and Flex started, and it started. So he was off because the voice was gone. And I said, start. And so I don't think we even got to even start the song, because that's what we start. I would say, all right, well, come off. Hear the MC. Move. Do. Move. Yo, that is embarrassment.
Yeah.
That is embarrassment. You understand? But I said with everything, you live and you learn. And I think he learned that day, boy. But the thing is, in that learning process, he pulled me with him. No fear. You understand? You guys go with the sinking ship and you go pull that drowning man with you. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Crazy, bro. But it's all part of the learning process, because you guys couldn't have this super group if you didn't go through those failures, those triumphs, those defeats, and all of that stuff there. Okay, cool. Did you guys start flying before you got your number one when Eagles Fly, or that's when you guys started to fly?
It's a very good question. I think we may have started to fly around the time when Eagles Fly came out.
Do you remember one of your early trips, like something where off the island now it's like, okay, these people are calling for us? What was that like?
Off the island, people are calling for us. It was just a unique thing, man. Like, I remember, because we still never really, like, boss at that time, So, I mean, performing in different places, and, you have to share a room, and, go through the situation where it's just the whole amazing experience of, wow, this is a musical video carry us here. It was just a very, for me, it was a very humbling experience. Like, wow, this thing can, like I said to myself, this thing can actually work. Like, I believe in it, but when it starts to come to fruition and it starts to you actually see it happening, you're like, yo, And as I said, all right, we just need to push a little bit harder, just do a little bit more. We can do this. And I was like, really, 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 really enthusiastic. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we're performing, you have a little bit of people, and you're like, yo, it's a learning curve. You go through this, and you're like, just trying your best to just make sure you make an impact on these people. Make sure that these people hear you and they see you, and you're not just a one-trick pony. They see you as being something different. It was. There's so many things that I don't remember anything specifically, like what would be something that really stands out in that early part. It would be sometimes like even as I was starting to get bigger, and you started to even compare yourself, even when you see how people react to like an NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, and you realize, all right, the bigger we get, like going to some of these Caribbean countries, and girls are faint, and I remember even performing one time, even as we got big now, I remember performing, and we're in Italy, and girls take off panty and throw up on stage, and you have to sing, and you're like, real tapa, shoo, here, let's step on, I can't step in there, you show, shoo, and you dodge the panty them, shoo, shoo, you understand? You dodge panty like some flying missiles. It was crazy, because I don't think at that point in time they really had many Jamaican artists who were getting that kind of reaction. I mean, we go to New York, and you're like a group, and you have a bunch of white girls going crazy, a bunch of Latinos and white girls going crazy. And we didn't have the big songs like a NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys. I guess probably by that time there was Chichi Man and probably Shaky Bam Bam and stuff like that. But we didn't have that huge audience of people, but they still loved us and they were still rocking because these songs were still very popular, especially in like the more Caribbean type settings, you know what I mean? So that to me always spoke volumes that the potential is there, the talent is there, is just to get it out there for people to see that this is that, but it's also different. I guess that's why even the New York Times called us at one point in time the #1 reggae boy band on the planet, because out of Jamaica, I mean, you have other groups, but there's only really one. I don't mean to sound whatever, but just doing what we do, there's only one. Or the Caribbean, there's only one. You know what I mean? In terms of the dual dancehall and the reggae community, There's only one T.O.K. And I feel honored and proud to be a part of that. That legacy, that movement. And, I'm forever grateful for that because I do believe that at the end of the day, these are the things that make you more who you are. You understand? You have to appreciate where you're coming from to know where you're going. That is always my thing. I preach it day in and day out. You have to be appreciative. So you have to. Yeah.
I understand. Because especially at this time here now, there's more groups that's coming out,
Yeah.
There was the War 21s,
exactly.
The Worm them, the Scare them, and then ARP.
I remember ARP, but
when did they actually show up on T.O.K's radar?
Well, actually, they were doing their thing. I guess around the same time we were, but they were with the more linked to Beenie Man, and they had like to ISIS and T.O.Q. But we were compared at first. Some people liked them, some people liked us. But still, I think personally, I think a lot of mistakes that a lot of those early groups made, and I guess it's something that we kind of do too. We kind of did it as well, where you sing a lot of the covers because those are the things that are going to get you the forward and get you the reaction from the people. So when you sing a bunch of stuff that people already know, is an easy reaction by the crowd. When we go up and we are sing songs like Mona Lisa, like your style, they don't know these songs. These are not songs that are out there that other people sing. These are our original songs. And I think from that, we can help to develop our own original sound. I think a lot quicker than probably a bunch of the other groups, you know what I mean? So we're still doing the covers as well now because that was a part of our thing too. You, as a group, you go up and you sing the cover music and stuff. But you were able to separate yourself from what was out there. And I think that was very important for us, to separate yourself from what people were seeing, what people were expecting, and just kind of stand out. And then there would be the rivalry, because, you know what I mean, as you're young, you say, hey, you want to film thing, and yeah, boy, but you better, and then you have to kind of, in the midst of all that, try and prove yourself, to the people. And, you know what I mean, for me, even though it's not so much proving yourself to them, it's just basically just trying to do your thing and just be the best you can be. Because I do believe, as I said to everybody, in the end, you will stand out. You don't have to be doing or conforming to what everybody else is doing. In your own unique way, you can stand out, and then by you standing out, you make your mark. You know what I mean? And that's what happened over a period of time. That's what eventually happened, because I mean, a lot of those groups, I don't think they're around anymore. You know what I mean? There are people who branch off and do their own thing. Even though it happened to us too, but it took a longer time. But we were able to have international success along with it. You get me? You were able to hit Billboard a couple of times, sell platinum in Japan twice. We were able to, like all these different things. And I'm not talking about like the reggae Billboard. I'm talking about like Billboard. You understand? Where a song would blow up based on the strength of the song and not necessarily whatever other factors may have been out there, whether it's I'm gonna spend money to push a particular song. People just love the music and they just gravitate towards it, and thank God it just worked. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. How many times did you guys hit Billboard?
I have to go double check. I don't remember. I think probably like about 4 times. I think,
because I know Just Got Paid was one.
There was Footprints was another one. I think even what was it? I think I don't remember if Galang was it Galang Girl? I know Just Got Paid. I think Shaky Bam Bam. I think Chichi Man, and I think Footprints. And maybe she's hot. I don't remember. I'm not sure because I honestly can't tell you. But I know a lot of these songs were big hits, and I can't really tell the specific time because I forgot really got to go back and go check. But I know that we hit Billboard a couple of times.
And what was that like as this younger group coming out of Jamaica to actually now again? You in particular, you've seen Michael Jackson at Grammys on billboards and all these stuff there. So then now the same thing is happening to you as a group. What was that like?
All the hard work is paying off. Finally, I'm like, finally, this is happening. This can happen. Let's do this. This can happen. This can happen. It's like fulfilling a destiny, living the dream. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, as you know, in our business, whether it be dancehall or reggae, or even just the music business itself, you have a great percentage of people who don't make it. Yeah, the percentage of people who don't make it is greater than those who actually do. You know what I mean? So, and then you have those who do make it, reaching one stage. They don't necessarily reach to tier 2. They're at tier 1, same way. You understand? And tier 2 different from tier 3. You understand? You have different levels to success. What is success? You know what I mean? And it just really cemented in my head that this was the right decision, not, stepping away from the whole school side per se, academia, but still at the end of the day, knowing enough to know that okay, this is an investment in myself. This is me putting time and effort and money and everything into this because this thing will work if given the time, the effort, and the push and the belief. You have to have that conviction that this is going to work, and just putting it into it.
Mm-hmm.
Get me?
Were your parents supporting you from jump, or you had to kind of prove yourself?
It was a little bit tricky. I mean, my parents were, to some extent, they were there for the most part. My father was a little bit iffy because like, school thing, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, my parents were very much supportive. Very much. As a matter of fact, Flex and Basie lived with me at one point in time too. Mm-hmm. Because Flex and him father kick off, Basie and him father fight. And my father's kind of seen as the father of T.O.K. per se, because my father have a big heart and him now got to say to youth on the road, just whatever, feel him a man. I got to try to say, hear what? I say, all right, chief, come here, so chief. And we will figure it out and talk about your parents, them, and we'll try to work it out. But at least in the meantime, I can stay here and have a roof over their head and have food. And I will forever be grateful for that, because that showed me how great of a man he was for doing something like that. Because and he said to me, all right, you want to try the music thing, but you're not this, you're not hustle that, you're not doing other whatever, you're just doing music and you want to try and make it in the music thing. So even though you put aside the studying and stuff, I will support you. And he was very proud of me, because, I remember even once I surprised him and bought him a car. You understand? Because I think, funny enough, when I did that though, because our relationship, because my parents got divorced and stuff, and mom overseas, he and I were here with my brother. There was a little bit of a strain at one point in time, because you feel me, my man in the house, and clash and stuff, and just kind of see a thing where I grow and grow and I'm getting bigger, and I said to myself, and even in the terms of the parenting, you really can't take sides. You have to kind of love one for who he is and love the other. And when I did that, I think it really took him aback, because he wasn't expecting it, because I had my car. He didn't have his car at the time. He didn't have a car at the time. And he used to have to borrow mine and stuff. And I said, boy, I really like, young boys, so they don't come borrow my car every night on John Star. So I was like, and it felt good to do that for him, because you supporting my dreams and this and that. And I want to make, at the end of the day, as I've always said, whatever I do is not just for me, but it's for my family and for my friends and for those who are around, who are part of the movement and see the growth and are believing in the mission. They should be rewarded with my success as well. And I remember, I think it was my neighbor at the time who was selling a car, and he told my father to come and say, he must sell the car. I said, Daddy, man, I have the money for that, blah, 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 blah. I said, all right. But behind his back, I went over there and I went over there. I spoke to the guy, Mr. Morris, who owned the car. I got a mechanic to check it out. And I knew the issue of the car anyway. And buy it. And I was just moving from one part of the road, come across to the next part. And funny enough, how I surprised him is with him. I say, all right, let me kind of more and go up. So on time, I say, I say, see your keys here, see your car here, so blah, blah, blah. And I said, what are you talking about? I say, no, your car, that. And I just walked off. That's how I do my surprise. And he's like, you see, I say, yeah. I'm gonna call the lady next door and give him the phone again and walk off. And she's like, yes, man, you just on board the car already, blah, blah, blah. All the things started already, blah, blah, blah. Cars. He sat down there like no joke for like about 3 minutes to 5 minutes to sit. Total shock. Because he wasn't expecting it. And he said, boy, he said, boy, if my heart never strong you, man, I'm gonna say, well, yeah. At the end of the day, you are part of the thing too, man. And I think he more respected me a lot more after that, because he saw where, it wasn't just about me. It's about us. You know what I mean? And I want you happy too. You sacrifice for me to make me reach where I reach. I have to sacrifice for you. It's a given. You know what I mean? That's how I look at life,
That's definitely one of your feel-good moments where, again, trying, he's the dad, he's sheltering, and then you could even turn around and buy a car. Because remember, you know what it is to buy a car for somebody, boss?
Yeah. I remember saying, oh, money split four, you know. It split four ways, so it's not like say it was easy to do. You know, it split four ways, so you have to bear that in mind as well, you know. But it was something that I felt I had to do.
Mhm.
Make it known, say, oh, you know, I love you, I care about you, I check for you. You are a part of me, you are a part of you help make me, you are a part of my journey.
Mhm.
So that's
What
the
was there besides that? So then that's for dad. Now, what was your first big purchase for yourself after you bus?
after I was, I mean, okay, my first big after what was the first thing, or first off, let me tell you, see, after we started making a little bit of money, a
Mhm.
little bit going on the hotel circuit. That before it was the hotel circuit and performing cabaret and stuff. First thing I ever bought was like a little stereo, a little set.
Okay.
That's the first thing I ever bought, like a stereo set, so I could play my music, and I was able to like have, I think it was like a 3 disc player,
Hmm.
and have the two little tape decks on the front, and I was like, yeah, this going in my room, lock the door them, and the thing is, lock the door them, and you have the lights coming from the stereo itself, and I was just, for me, music is about carrying you into a different world.
Mhm.
It carried me into a different world. I was like, yo, this is it. That was my first ever purchase. I remember when like a whole bus and I bought my first car. I was like, yo, and spray it, put like a muffler at the back, say, oh, you come here, pop, 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 pop. And you're like, yo, so so you hear from about 3 miles down the road, you hear me and my car coming. And then you know, getting that car, and then I guess changing to another car and you get your chrome rims and your leather seat, and you're like, yes, you this now,
Mhm.
and then I guess that is when you finally can make a purchase of a house. Is when you say, oh, all right, yeah, you feel that this is really the it says something, this is where you come in, and that's the thing about me, even when I got the car for the first time, like you sleep and you wake up and say, you can't believe I should have a car. And you go say, you open the door and say, yo, I really like your car, this youth. Oh, you mean youth? The thing I go on youth. Yes, youth. And you feel good because you're like, yo, all this work, he was able to get me this. God, good enough. And that's one thing about me. In everything I tell people all the time, in everything, I guess especially from my mother drew that into my head. In everything, you give thanks. Even when it's rocky, you give thanks to me because here what you live and you can fight another day because you're alive. And that's one thing I've even up to now. All my successes and my failures, I try my best to give thanks because God is still in control of the thing. You know what I mean? So you learn to be appreciative, and I think that is what helps me to even get more success.
Mhm.
Because I said before, I help other people. I try to help people too. Every year, like even with me, like gig, clothes and shoes and stuff. What I mean, at the end of the day, I have stuff like even at that group, we used to get stuff from companies and stuff and blah 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 blah. I make it my thing where almost every year, as much as I can, go in my closet and give away stuff. You know what I mean? Like clothes, shoes, this, that, and whatever. I mean, too, because my thing is you can't want all of everything. You have to learn for share. You know what I mean? I think when you do that, you get more blessing. Not that you're doing it for the blessing, but you're doing it to help somebody. You're doing it to make to and sometimes the blessing is just to feel good in yourself, to know, say, yo, you're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
Makes 100% sense. They usually say when you get success, when the money starts to come in, the people around you change. All right. Do you find that happened to you, or that's just a cliche saying?
It has happened. It does happen. It does happen. And it can change for a good and a bad thing,
Mhm.
in the sense that when you become more successful and you probably have your peers and you used to run and kick ball with them and them have you a little youth beside them, and them see you on for them level, and then two you jump up 3 or 4 levels. There are sometimes will come times where people resent it. It's sad because at the end of the day, they sometimes, well, but I realize sometimes it's not necessarily people react to your success because they think you change now, and they feel that they have to react to what is happening with you with this kind of a personality. And that's a funny thing too, because it's like I may not necessarily change who I am. It's just that my circumstance may have changed. You get me? And you are reacting to the fact you think because my circumstances have changed, I automatically have changed as well. And sometimes that can bring off a negative reaction because you are changing based on what you see. And then I'm going to react to you changing. I'm like, where this coming from? You know what I mean? And I've seen where people, why them better than people? I've heard it all. I've heard the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, where people who are genuinely happy for you, like, yo, brother, enough time you used to say blah blah this and that blah blah blah. Sorry, I remember once there's this guy. I don't you see me, I'm an easygoing guy, but I can be very feisty and I'm very blunt. I'm very blunt. And there was this guy who I don't know what he expected to get from saying this to me, but he probably picked the wrong day to say something like this to me. Because I'm on the road and this is where we used to go, Exed. And we were at school, and the time we used to try to boss, you never boss yet, you do your little thing, and you try to sing, and everybody used to know what used to try to sing, right? Except to blah blah, boss, and then two twos. You have them man, they're hot boy, them man, they're popular boy, and them thing, they do them thing, and them never really even used to talk to you anyway. And we're there and cool, and do a thing, and the thing start work, and we boss, and then fast forward like a year or so after, the man come to me, the same man who has never said anything to me in life at all, never see me at all. Never thought the need to address me in any way. Come to me and say, yo, Alex, I tell him, I know my name. And I say, I've never had a conversation with this nigga. I say, yo, the man, I'm go on, man, I'm this, the man, I'm done the place where boy, I'm not lie, still enough. Not lie. When the man used to perform, man, you used to laugh after the man, used to laugh after the man, blah, 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 this and that. So I guess he thought it was a coming to that type situation where, like confessing certain things out of blah, blah, blah. Because I used to laugh after the man, so the man then walk on the man then I'm just trying to say, hey, but you can't laugh now, don't it? Shut him up right in the middle of them tracks. You understand? Because you see, for me, as much as I'm an easygoing and I'm cool, I'm gonna straighten you out if you, because I'm not the kind of person who believes in disrespecting anybody. You not try that. So if you're going to try to come and small change my thing, I'm not gonna make you know what really I go on, It's just and even sometimes, even though really truly, for the most part, sometimes it's not even worth it. Because some of these people they're not really in the bigger scheme of things, it's not that important. That was then though, but I mean now I think of myself, I'm like, yeah, if you're not contributing to my life or to the success I am having, you're not contributing, not even to success, but just a positive energy around me, then I mean I don't really need to have you around me. You know what I mean? Because I am trying to contribute something positive to you. I mean, I'll be perfect, and if I do something wrong, tell me, but that is my genuine intent, especially if I see that you're a genuine person. Who are you into? That is how I look at life. When people win, it's not something.
Some people don't get it, but clearly you're one of the people that get it and understand that. If you win, I win, we all win, and we continue to move forward.
Yeah, and the more I win, and if you happy every time I win, and you make me win, and then I happy every time you win, and I make you win, then life will be so much easier.
Then we're great. Clear. Okay. There's something there. There's some, you guys are touring, you guys are doing your stuff, big T.O.K now. There's some collaborations that I want to go over. I have about 5 collaborations. I want to know how they even came up in the first place. All right. The first one here is the remix for Galia Lead with Dina Sky and Beenie Man.
We were in New York at the time, and I mean, Galilee was actually playing on the international stations at the time. I think it was playing on Hot 97. It was in rotation at the time, and I think it was Cypher Sounds who was managing Nina Sky at the time, and he was also on the radio. And we're like, yo, we'll be bad to have them on this record. And I think they wanted to do it because at the end of the day, a lot of the Latinos are influenced by the dancehall as well. So it was a cool look to kind of just. I think it was suggested. I don't know if it's Willie Daniels had made the connection. I don't remember who it was. And then we know Beenie Man from before, so it's like, yo, cool to have Beenie Man in this too. Just to bring a different flavor. And we're just like, all right, how can we remix? Even the punchline was a little bit tricky. So I was like, gone, gone, gone. I was like, yeah, make it be like a sample, make it be like a, make it be something that could be a little bit different so people can be like, all right, cool. This is not the original, but it works same way. And I mean, it was just one of those things that, I mean, sometimes, especially when you have a record that's running, and you have a record that's popular, it's a lot easier sometimes to get certain people on it because they know the power of the record already, because it's already, people are going to want to go and jump on a train that's already moving, basically. And that train was already moving. But I think at that time, I'm not sure if actually the music video that we put on BT at that time, because the music video for Galia Lead, like a big international video for it as well. I don't remember if at that time I had it, but it was pretty cool,
big one. Another monster song here was Pitbull featuring T.O.K.
Mm.
How did that come around now?
Well, Pitbull, honestly, Pitbull was his his DJ was our DJ at the time. DJ Buddha, big up the DJ Buddha. And it was true that that time Pitbull was not Mr. Worldwide yet. He wasn't like Pitbull, but he was still coming up, you know. We were actually, you know, like we were kicking up a storm at that point in time. Pitbull was still trying to make his way. And so, you know, it was a song like it just seemed like a very good thing to do at that point in time. And he was like, yo, man, I really appreciate y'all doing this and blah 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 blah, because you know, he wasn't really, he didn't blow up at that point in time yet. He was still just trying his luck. And it was just, I think it was more Buddha who set that up for us to do that with him. And it worked out, you know.
Crazy. That one there, that's a real legacy type of collaboration right there. Another one here. This one, I really want to know how this one came up. This was more of an album cut. This was the T.O.K. featuring Kelly Price, Bonafide. Okay. How did that come up there? How did you guys even interact with somebody like a Kelly Price?
Funny enough, that was a very interesting one. How did we do that? I think we were away, and I think she wanted to delve more into the. I think she wanted us on one of her records, you know, because she was doing more at that time, you know, the whole a lot of these artists now, you know, it would be cool to have a Jamaican artist on your record and stuff. And I think her people have reached out. And we're like, all right, exchange. We will do one for you, and you do one for us. So that's how Bonafide came about, because we were like, all right, we have to make sure so we get her a nice sounding record, a nice sounding track that more would fit her thing. And we were in the studio, and I mean, yo, she's so freaking amazing. Like that. She just got it. She's like, oh, boy, okay, you want that? I'm like, okay. All right, cool. And then we went back to Jamaica with her vocals, and we tweaked it, and everybody did them part, and it was just a really cool experience, because she was very humble, very easygoing, you know. And that's I think that's the key thing, you know. I always say to people, you know, when it comes down to doing the work or putting in the work, the best thing I think is to put our egos aside, man. Let's just go do the work. Let's do what we have to do and make this thing off and popping. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
That totally makes sense there. Another one, I almost think this is who you've collaborated the most with in your career, Beenie Man.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. Right now, the song that I want to ask you about is called Bring It On.
Wow. We were, I think it was, we were at Penthouse. I think it's Penthouse. We were at, and it's a long time ago. Sometimes I rush on. Sometimes in terms of remembering a lot of these stuff, basically with the one who is always remembering things. And Bring It On. I remember we were there because at that time you're always trying to find ways to get on the hottest rhythm and to do stuff with all the hottest producers and stuff. And a lot of time, by that point in time, we were around there with Beenie and them, and the rhythm was there. I don't know whose rhythm is that. I don't remember. And it was a situation where a lot of times, us especially, I had to find sometimes some of those melodies from some of those songs that are out there before that you can kind of twist and bend a little bit. Yeah. And sometimes people are like, yo, that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure where it come from. You understand? And I think he was there doing some other stuff, and we're like, yo, it's bad enough where they're singing, and I was saying, oh, but I would just talk to him, and he was like, because Beenie is a man, Beenie, tell you one thing about Beenie can spot a bad song a mile away now. Beenie was spotting and saying, Ray, whatever, blah, 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 I jump in it. I saw for you mention Beenie Man, because I have a song with Beenie Man now.
We're getting there.
You know what I mean? So it's just because you mentioned, but yeah, and Beenie Man, in like the freestyle when he goes into the DJ booth, you know, this whatever is happening or whatever him feel off the top of his head, unless you come up with an idea for him, he's gonna freestyle it. You know what I mean? So it works.
And that was there. Okay, and this is one of the first collabos that I remember seeing was T.O.K. and Lady Saw.
Yeah, that was T.O.K. Lady Saw. That was our first hit, actually. I think Hardcore Lover. It was on the baddest rhythm, and that was big up to Shams. It was on the baddest rhythm, and it was a situation where I think he hooked it up, Because, you know, we're saying, boy, we are really forget Lady saw this record, you know, and thing. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to try to talk to her. And she liked the idea. And, you know, upcoming group were trying thing. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And it turned out to be something that was played a lot, you know. And we're like, yo, wow. So I was like, yo, first collaboration with a big artist. I was like, yo, this thing can it's all my things always this, you know, yo, this thing can really work, you know. Lady Saw, she's a phenomenal artist. She really, I think, set the bar for even female DJs in Jamaica, female artists in Jamaica. And she's always forever humble, forever easygoing. And it was just a cool, at that point in time when there's a young artist coming up and seeing her is like, yo, you know, this is the way it's supposed to go. You know what I mean? You just do what you have to do. Keep it humble. You know, she's, you know, Shams was giving her instructions as to whatever, blah, 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 give her the words and this and that. And that was it.
Just like that. Okay, because as I said, I know you as a group have done collabs. You as yourself have done a collab with Beenie Man. Is there only one collaboration you guys have done with Bounty Killer?
We did two. There was
the second one called Mana Badman. What's the next one?
I don't wanna. It was Mana Badman Part 2. Mana Badman, we not keep him for my friend. Mana Badman, I mingle with a man. Badman, me I tell you again. Badman, I keep fussy friend. I remember which rhythm it was one of Sham's rhythm that we did that song on. But yeah, we have two collaborations with Killer. And it wasn't an intentional thing to choose to do more songs with Beenie Man because we rated two of them. The two of them rate we, you know, it just happened. It's just sometimes how the chips fall, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just music, and that's how it goes. Sometimes right place, here, there, hanging out. Hey, this idea works, and that's just how things go from time to time. All right, because I know when it comes to albums, you guys, as T.O.K, the group, you guys have 4 albums, which is My Crew, My Dog, Unknown Language, Our World, and Taking Over was really a EP.
So we have 4. Apart from that, there's one called Forever.
Okay.
Forever. So it was My Crew, My Dogs, Unknown Language, Our World, and then Forever. Forever was the last one. The Taking Over album didn't actually come out because right after we did that body of work, then the group split. We did that in 2014, late 2014, early 2015, and then the group split at the ending of 2015.
So Taking Over never came out?
No, just the one record, just a single came out, but we didn't actually release the whole body of work, which was the funny thing about that, because I was kind of the one who was spearheading that one to some extent in terms of saying that, yo, we've done the Jamaican thing, we've done the Caribbean, we've done in terms of representing who we are and the level that we reach. Let us showcase to the world now what we can do. That was my thought process. I was like, yo, all right, dancehall, reggae, yeah, we'll have that luck. But I don't think that a lot of people know that we can actually sing, you know what I mean? So I was like, at this point in time, let's just do it. Let's show them that we can do all these different things and take to a different level. Like, you know, put us on a EDM track or put us on a Afrobeat track or whatever. We'll show them that we can kill it. A disco track, we can kill it. So it was that time where we just did that kind of stuff and was like, but unfortunately, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles. It happened that, you know, everyone wanted to do them thing. I wasn't really fully prepared for that, but in terms of you kind of sense something is coming, but you're not really fully prepare for it until it actually happens, and you're like, wow, you know. But it's what it is.
What was the what was the rumbling in the first place where you could sense, okay, there's something going on here?
Actually, there's been a lot of rumbling for quite some time, to be perfectly honest. You know what I mean? You see, I don't know. As I said before, I didn't listen to the other interviews, but I'm a straight shooter. Especially now as you get older, I don't have time for the BS. You know, there's a lot of internal rumblings from before, and my thing is always, my thought process was like, all right, wow, this is working. I don't really feel this. I don't really like that. I don't really like how this guy did with this. But I was always like, yo, let's continue for the greater good. So sometimes, a lot of times, and I guess I'm guilty of it, where I should have said something certain times and I didn't say it, which probably would have eliminated that issue at that point in time, or we probably would have broken up a lot earlier because of that. I didn't say anything because, I guess probably it's something the same for each of us where you want to say something and you don't say because you're like, blah, blah, blah. But I think sometimes lack of communication early on out where you don't call a spade, that you don't. My thing is this: if I am wrong and you guys realize that I'm wrong, so you guys should come to me and say, "Boy, Alex, so you're wrong for this and that," and vice versa with anybody. You know what I mean? My thing is, it's not a situation where I think this is what I think had to add to that kind of issue where if somebody is wrong, even if it's not a situation where they have wronged you specifically, you need to address it and get it resolved. Everybody will be back on the same page and keep moving forward. But I guess as I said before, it's all a part of life, and you live and you learn. And even though we had a lot of internal issues at some point in time, I'm grateful for what, because I believe in taking good with the bad. That is me, as I said before. It's not to be a bed of roses, and you can sit here and complain about all the stuff that was wrong, but you need to realize and appreciate the stuff that was right. Because my thing is simply this: you're getting from this point to this point, right? There are many obstacles along the way. You have pothole, you have this and that to get from this road to this road. You chose to go from road A to road B. And however you got there, good or bad or indifferent, this is a road you decided to take. You could have taken this road. You didn't take that road. You took this one. So even though this one could have been easier, possibly, it could have been harder too. You don't know. We don't know. Is hindsight is 2020. You don't know what could have happened. All we know is what did happen. So because of what did happen, you will give thanks for what happened. And that is how I look at it. I am grateful for what happened, good, bad, or ugly, because it's because of what happened and how it happened, I am where I am now. And that I believe you have to give thanks for.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
what I'm saying?
100% agree with you 100%. For you now, when did everything actually crumble? Where, okay, this imploded right now.
You mean in terms when? Okay, well, when because we saw the rumblings from before, as I said to you before, the man now come to studio on time and other things with them do, and clearly the group was not the priority. Man, just going through the motions to get what they need to get, and you saw that for a good while going on. You're still trying to say, all right, hopefully this is a hump that you can overcome, because you just figure that all right, it's just a stumbling block. You're just going through it, everything. You go through the motions. I said to myself that maybe eventually it'll all pan out and work itself out. That being said, when it came to a halt now where Flex made the public know that he was leaving the group, you understand? Even though when we had our conversations via WhatsApp and that came out now, basically had said he had basically left the group from a long time, because he just didn't make it official. That's what basically I said in the group chat. But the fact that Flex made it official now and thing, I'm like, wow. What now? Because even though I was still thinking of doing solo projects, my aim was still mainly the group. You understand what I'm saying? And which a point where you're like, wow, okay. Basically you have to take some time now and kind of figure out where you're going with all this thing, because it's like you don't know fully where you want to go, because I don't know about everybody else, but I got so used to the whole group dynamic where, all right, you sing your parts, this and that, and you believe so much in one thing that you really didn't see anything. You saw other stuff, but you didn't really see it, because the mainstay was still this, because remember, and I know all of us would say the same thing. Everybody has sacrificed for the group. My personal sacrifice was the fact that I wanted to go into acting, I wanted to go into comedy, impersonating. I would love to do Pixar movies and Disney. A whole bunch of different things, acting, everything. Because I keep on telling people I'm not a one-trick pony. I can do a bunch of different things. But my main thing was the group, so I wasn't really focused on any of that per se. So being in that, it's like you get thrown in the deep end now. So you need to learn to swim. You know what's going to happen. But then when I'm training at the deep end, you're like, all right, I'm in the deep end now. You have to sink or swim. So you just tread little bit, you tread little, and then two twos, you realize, hey, it's not so bad enough. It's something that I can do. It's something that, and then you get the support and the validation, and you get, even though you don't necessarily need it, but you get support, you get encouragement, you get to say, yo, all right, this and that. You have people who reach out to you and say, yo, you me want to work with, your voice, this and that, and this and that. And as before, I've always said that I'm sure each of us have had producers and artists reach out to us. You understand? Because the network for T.O.K is quite extensive, and that's what you have to do. And what for me was real validation is when I got my first number one. So you get a number one during COVID as a solo artist. You know, it's humbling.
Yeah.
It's humbling. It's validation. It's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To say, all right, here what? I guess the people. I mean, clearly people are liking what I'm doing, liking the direction. Because even though I still have the Alex T.O.K sound, it has somewhat evolved into something else as a solo artist, where people are hearing a different side of me now and say, oh, okay, I can do this for real, I can do that. Okay, this is you know, it's different, and I like that, because I'm not a one drop or a reggae or a full-fledged dancehall artist. I'm an artist. I come from Jamaica, and I do everything. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in limits. Mm-hmm. I always said, even when I was in T.O.K, don't set limits for yourself, because you may try something else and it may work. And see, trying something else and it's working. So yeah, but I mean, it was a downtime when the group just broke up at first. I was like, whoa, didn't know what to do. But then I had to find myself, because my thing, even with COVID now, same mentality, same mindset, adapt or die. It's as simple as that. It's either you're going to adapt and find a way to get through this and work it out and figure it out, mm-hmm. or you're going to sink like a stone at the bottom of the well. And upon that, you can't, because in this life, nothing is really. You have some who are lucky that things are given to you. Sometimes you have to fight hard and get it, and that is my thing. You have to just fight and get it, because it's out there for you. You know, mm-hmm. Whatever is for you can be for me. Whatever is, you understand, and whatever is for me can be for you. It's that simple. And I tell the people all the time, there's a slice of pie, the life that you want and what you want is out there for you, you know. Don't spend time coveting others and envying this and whatever. Just work on your thing, focus on your thing, and get what you need to get.
You're right.
I always treat them power and encourage, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Always good. And how long did it actually take you to find your footing after the group had dissolved at that time there?
Took me a minute, because I mean, even in terms of my album and my body of work, my album, I've been working 3 years on my album. Mm-hmm. In between time, I do singles and I do collaborations, working producers, this and that. I've done a little bit of production. I will be going more into production now. But it's still a learning process for me, because I've always had the mindset that as much as you may be established as an artist, as much as you may have success, you're still having to learn, you're still having to grow. I'm learning to play an instrument now. I'm learning a second language now. I am trying to develop myself. I'm working on my voice. I'm doing voice training. I'm all these stuff to make yourself a more viable product, a stronger commodity. You're never too old to learn. So, I mean, my artist, the standard, Michael rehearsed every day in his clothes for hours. He'd perform, as I found out, he would perform like in front of a mirror. He would dance 4 hours in the stage clothes that he was going to wear on stage. Right? And he took voice lessons. Michael took voice lessons too. So if the baddest and the greatest of them are doing it to improve themselves, why you can't do it too? And why not try to make yourself better today than you were yesterday? And you know, and so on and so forth. Make yourself better tomorrow than you were today. It's all about improving yourself and making yourself better. Can't only go up, you know. Sky is the limit. It really is the limit. Prince could play 14 different instruments. He's another guy who I think is incredible and amazing. Prince. You know what I mean? You have Prince, you have Eldebarge, you have so many out there, multi-talented people, and they're working in silence. So you got to do too. You have to better yourself. So It's still a growing process for me. There's never been one set time where I feel like, yeah, I am getting there. I've learned more about my sound now out of T.O.K. What more I can do now since I'm out of T.O.K. and learn to harness that. But I'm still growing, I'm still learning. So it's a day-to-day process, it's a step-by-step process, and I give thanks for it.
Makes sense. Because it seems like your market where you really shine in is like a lot of the Latin American market, the Costa Ricas and all of those places here. That's where Alex seems to really get his shine. Because I know Costa Rica that's the place that gave you your number one look good.
Yeah. You're so right, because funny if a producer said to me that it's like, yo, you seem to be really resonating with the Latin American people. You know, I have the song with Beenie Man, Medicina. It's a combination. The genre is called dembo, which is similar to reggaeton. It is Beenie Man and Hazel Luran, and it's working already. It's on 2 charts over there in Boston. I think a top tropical chart and another playlist chart is on, some Latin chart. It's working. The Latin community, they've always embraced T.O.K, and by extension, they've embraced me, and I embrace them. You know what I mean? It's just love, and it's just the energy. I guess they feed off it and they like it, so it's working. So why not work with it? You know, I have fun if I'm working on another one right now. I'm actually producing a track that should be very interesting to see how John Q Public reacts to that one. I'm actually co-producing a track that's called Mash It Up, but you hear more about it soon. Don't worry, it's different. It's different. And
all right,
I love it. Huh?
We'll definitely be looking out for that.
Yeah,
one.
Man, trust me. I have some bombers coming in, man. Because even that, separate apart from the Latin American community, I'm getting love from even the, what do you call it now? The bass hall, EDM type / community as well. The EDM market. Now we have a song called Tick with DJ Flavor One, and he's based in Germany, featuring Richie Loops as well. And that song released about 4.5 months ago has gained almost 600,000 views on YouTube without any real. I mean, it's been added to a couple of playlists, and I give thanks for that, but without a video for it yet or anything like that. But it worked, and it actually went on Amazon Music in Germany. It was on Amazon Music, yeah, I think it's Amazon Music. Amazon Music was like at number 35 on Amazon Music. So it is still showing that, hey, this can work. Alex sound, somewhat enhanced, somewhat changed, somewhat evolved into what it is now. Because I'm even going by an alter name right now. Even though my stuff is Alex T.O.K, but I'm working with Alex the Thriller. I still haven't really fully, it's like a transitional thing. I'm still Alex from T.O.K, still Alex T.O.K, but it will be aka Alex the Thriller. And
I wonder where you came up with Thriller.
But the funny thing about that is that I also dabble in acting. That's where it came from. Because there's a local series on YouTube that I act in called The Bartender.
Yeah.
And my name in the show is Thriller. That's where it came from. So I'm acting as an artist who is established, who is trying to bring back his roots here, with connecting with the vibe here. But at the same time, has had some international success and is just doing his thing now back in Jamaica. So it's from that is really where it came from. But it's ironic that it has that same.
You're basically doing a reality show then.
Yes, it's not reality. It's just it's a series. The acting is like, and funny enough, it's like the #1 series on YouTube in Jamaica now. In terms of the support it's getting, and it's very popular on YouTube. It's a Jamaican. It's called The Bartender. You should watch it. It's actually pretty good. The acting is great, and it's really like, it's not your typical, run of the mill thing that sometimes come from Jamaica. It's like the comedy is slapstick, and it's really it's actually pretty good. The writing is pretty good. You should check it out. But yeah, so I'm delving into other things now. I've done stand-up comedy before. I plan to go back into it because I see myself kind of like a Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx sings, he impersonates, he does comedy, and he acts. That is my thing. So I have many different facets. And I tell people before, that's how I started singing, by impersonating. I can do Alvin and the Chipmunks, I can do Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can do Chris Tucker, I can do Miss Piggy, Kermit the Frog. I can always do all this bunch of different voices, and people are like, for real? And I'm like, yeah, because comedy and acting and impersonating and entertaining has been a part of my life for a minute. It's just that singing was the passion. Singing is the thing that it does really grab you. You know what I mean?
Got you through the door. Wow. I got one other song I wanted to go through with you from your solo time here. This was one
Mhm,
of the first songs I seen pop up was with Believe in Love with Busy Signal. Okay.
mhm.
That shows again, you're doing EDM, you're doing like
Reggaeton.
you're doing Afro beats, but then this right back to the one drop. Okay, look, here I am. I can still do it, you know. Just in
Mhm.
case you guys were wondering, I could still do this. How
Yeah.
did that collabo come up with Busy Signal?
Funny enough, there was a producer in Hawaii, um, Angel Magic, that's Johnny Mac, and he had a rhythm. And we were actually that's when the group had just broken up, and we were actually doing the Welcome to Jamrock cruise, and we actually linked up back with him on the cruise, and he had a rhythm he was playing, and I said, "Oh, I really like this rhythm. I'm going to jump on it," and I did my song on the rhythm, and he was like, "Yo, feels it should be a collaboration," and I'm like, "All right, cool." We went to Jamaica with the record, the session, and I was going around Big Yard, and I think I saw Busy around. I say, "Yo, Busy, I have an idea, you know," and this and that, and I was like, because I really thought, because Busy is left field, Busy is unorthodox, and that's me. That is me as well. Like a lot of people don't know that, but that is me as well. So I don't stick to the norms and the whatever is expected. I want to do something that is different. I like different. So I approach him and say, "Yo, producer Benjamin, am I doing this in Hawaii? And will you jump on it?" And I say, "Come in my car, because that is my office. You know? My car is my office. You know? I say, "Come in the car." I start playing. And so I start playing, I see him start rocking, I see him start smiling. And I say, "All right, just set up the time and thing." And I actually ended up co-producing that track as well. Out of the Box Records, yeah. Out of the Box is my record label. So I actually ended up co-producing that record as well. So and funny enough, you know, Busy is not a man to the combinations just like that. And it was just really. But don't worry, some more, you know, it's like even with my stuff and stuff, even when my body I wrote my album coming out, you're going to be getting a lot of surprises, a lot of stuff that people are not expecting. And people are like, "Yo, when but this so I'm doing this and that too." It's like there's something there for everybody. And I think that is what I like, you know, when I can tap into different things. Because you never know what's going to work. And who says you have to do one thing? Who says?
Crazy. And the body of work coming out is going to be Next Levolution.
Yeah, Next Levolution is the album.
Yeah.
Give thanks. It is the next level of evolution. That is it. And the definition of it for me is not being defined by boundaries. You understand? Elevating oneself above what you expect for yourself and what others expect of you. You know, so it's going the next level of evolution. That's what it is. So it's just where you become greater than your actual self. It's you know what I mean? That is it. Next level of evolution. Next evolution. And that is my album, but I'm working a bunch of other singles will be coming out in between. I have one with the same guy who did T.O.K, DJ Flavor one, a song called Hammer that is crazy too. I have some other stuff that's coming that people are not really going to be expecting. Like I don't want to let too much of the cat out of the bag, but trust and believe that you know, I have a song called I have some Afrobeat stuff working on, I have some other reggaeton stuff working on and more EDM stuff, you know, and it just feels good to kind of just experiment with music and have fun. And I think Next Evolution will be the first step, and it's a testament to what it is, what I was exposed to, is what I love, is what I, as a fan, would love to hear. It is, and there's something on it for everybody. It's just, for me, it's all about doing feel good music and just doing good music. And I mean, I know I even sent you some of the stuff I was doing, and I'm sure you hear like there's a difference in the different sounds of the music that you've heard based on what's I've sent you. I think I even sent you the Michael Jackson song. I did a Michael Jackson song. Well, one of them, the reggae song, the One Day in Your Life.
Yes.
That's a Michael Jackson song. Same key, everything. Because Michael, yeah, I mean, same range, yeah. That's Michael. That's Mike. That's actually Michael Jackson before Thriller. That was when he actually just left the Jackson 5. I think it was, yeah, and he was doing his own thing. That was at his
When
first.
you think about it, you're right, because it was the Michael Jackson song and the Busy Signal song
Mhm.
were had that reggae-ish feel, but then everything else was like next level altogether.
Mhm,
With like some
mhm.
different stuff here.
Yeah,
Crazy,
yeah.
crazy, crazy.
Give
Listen, I got
thanks.
one last question for you, all right?
No
Before
problem.
I get you out of here. But this one is where, okay, let's just ask it because when it came to T.O.K, in my heart, the biggest song was Footprint. You can't
Mhm,
cast that song there, Footprints. But I know it was inspired by some tragic events that happened
mhm,
with you and your family there. All right.
mhm, mhm.
Tell me what had happened and how you were able to pull that song out of your soul.
That's where funny enough, that's where the song came from. My brother had passed away in 2003.
Mhm.
And it was funny enough. It was a hard time for me because at one point in time I think I wanted to actually stop singing. I don't know many people know that. I actually wanted to stop singing because the energy wasn't there. I wasn't feeling it like because it was like just going through the motions. I really was going through a hard time when I lost my brother. And but I just had to try to play it off and try to compartmentalize that side of my life. We were going on tour. And I remember Don Carleone had played the rhythm for us, and as the rhythm, I don't know, I think that was just divine intervention. As he played the rhythm, I was like, "When you cry, I cry, I cry." I was like, "Yo, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the song. This is it." I remember some guys were like, "I'm not really feeling it, blah 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 blah." Like, whatever. And we left and we went away on tour.
Mhm.
And then by the time we came back, the masterpiece I started to play and the Bounty and the Modern Heritage. And I completely forgot about the drop leaf rhythm. That's how life is funny. I forgot about the rhythm. We went on tour, came back again, and done play the rhythm. And as in play the rhythm again, when you cry, I was like, bruh, trust me, this is it.
Mhm.
And Flex was like, yo, you have to respond like this, like, yo, right, this whatever. And then we went and we started right. And Flex was like, all right, when you cry, I like that. All right, Alex, watch this. Hurry up and come back. And he started writing his part. And then I was like, all right, you said that? All right, but hold on. Help me. I wrote that part. Lord, help me. And as just that was like the bridge segueing back into the punchline.
Mhm.
And then basically. So it's like, it was just like, I think we recorded that song in like an hour and a half. Like a very short period of time. And we just like laid the parts, and then Flex was like, another baby left homeless. And I'm like, but that again, help me, Lord, help me. It just flowed like a river going into an ocean. It just flowed, and it was divine intervention. That came from my soul. That record came from. I think a lot of people, even when I sing it, people know that is coming from a different part of your heart, different part of your soul, and because it resonates with so many different people, and so many people react to it and feel it. Where sometimes that's the biggest thing I think for you as an artist, where people can take your music and they take it into themselves and it becomes their own. It's no longer your music. It is an extension of you that you have now given to them, and they now take it and make it a part of their life, a part of your soul. And that was my thing. It's so crazy that even give thanks. It really came from the heart. Even though, funny enough, a lot of people don't know. Even the intro, that came from a video game. I
What?
used to be a hardcore gamer. I used to play a lot of games, and I twisted the melody a little bit. But when I was playing, like there's a video game I played, and back then, after you finish the game, after you crack the game and you beat the last boss and whatever, and I'm like, and the rhythm, because sometimes from video games, I used to write music. I
Mhm.
wrote songs. I wrote a song from the ending music of the video game, and that was back then. And I just realized that melody for the song I wrote
Mhm.
fits the intro for Footprints. I'm like, okay, cut and paste, drop it right there. It
That
worked.
insane. That is insane right there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. That's what I'm saying. You get inspiration from a lot of things. Like I tell people, you get inspiration from walking on the street. You get a lot of times inspiration reaches me when I'm playing a rhythm when I'm driving. When
Mhm.
I'm driving, the busy song, I believe, I believe, I believe in love. That came up while I was driving. I was driving.
Mhm.
You understand? Inspiration comes from so many things. It can come from a old lady crossing the street. It can come from a person selling fruits on the side of the road. comes from, it's all around us. It's just you have to find it and just find a way to make it into sound, make it into music. Remember, basically music is words with melody, you know? So, yeah. But
Terrence Riley once told me that music is feelings that you can, I forgot what he said made completely sense. Something with I forgot what it was, but what it alludes to the same thing that you just said there, where it makes total sense, where music is just a different vibration altogether. I understand. Listen, Alex, it's been a great conversation. We've learned a lot. We've got to see behind the scene of what's in the madman's mind. Because again, I know you do comedy, you do acting, you do voiceover, you do
yeah. And so for people always say, I don't know if you want me to do it on your platform, but a lot of people always say, yeah, you claim you do this and you claim you do that. Let's hear you do something, you know what I mean? Because I can say, hey, I can impersonate Chris Tucker, or I can say, hey, I can impersonate Aaron Schwarzenegger, or I can do Kermit the Frog. But it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually do it. You feel me? So I mean, hey, no time at the president, I'll be like, let me give you an example. All right. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Hold on. Where did that come from just now?
There's no speaker behind me. You're thinking. There's no speaker behind me, but I'm saying I am entertainment. I'm not a one-trick phone. When I say I do all these different things, I really do it. You know, I really do the voices and stuff. The mimicry comes from that. You know what I mean? You know, Kermit the Frog.
This is Kermit the Frog here, and I'm hoping that you can listen to here on the Muppet Show with me and this Kermit. You know,
what? It's yeah.
You know, okay. Let me tell you what it seems like. It seems like you guys, Boss, as a group, you guys did 20 odd years, and now you're still so young that you get to fool around in entertainment until you're happy with whatever, because you've done so much before. So it's not like you're rushing to bust because you did your work. So then now you have time to experiment and see, hey, you know what? Now I could do the comedy that I wanted to do before. Now I could do the acting now, and I will get back to music, but it's not I have to rush into it because I need to do this right now.
Yeah, I have reached a different level in my life where I believe it's just having fun. I don't have to hold back who I am. I don't have to pretend who I am. People are going to see the different sides of me, and if you're going to like me, you have to like me for all these different things that I can do. You know, all these different things that make me who I am. You're going to see brand Alex, a person who is not defined by one thing. You know, I am an entertainer, so I entertain, and it doesn't have to be just not just that kind of thing where I'm singing. I can now be like, come on, this Arnold Schwarzenegger, come on, we're gonna work on muscles. Come on, we're talking to Muscle Entertainment Report podcast. Come on, get your powder. Come on. Come on. You know, I keep a straight face while doing it.
Yeah. Listen, I can't deal with this. Listen, if they want to check out what you have coming up, going on right now, where can they check you on social media?
All right. First off, you can follow me at Alex T.O.K.1. That's on Instagram. Alex T.O.K. 1. I'm also on Spotify, Alex T.O.K. in bracket. You know, you can check me out. My Vivo is Alex the One, ALEXDI1. Alex the One Vivo. And you can check out the latest music I have out. You know, I have a couple of videos for the Mafia, for the Michael Jackson song that I did. There is one for Look Good, you know, and I have a whole heap of more stuff coming. You know what I mean? Hopefully we will be doing a video for Medicina as well, the one with me, Beenie Man, and Hazel. I'm hoping to work it out, but we're going to try and do it. There's so much more that is coming for me. So much more. I will be doing and then stay tuned. Next Levolution, the album is coming out. Hopefully within this first quarter of 2021. And that is just a body of work I'm so proud of, and I'm so happy to share with the world. You've heard some of my stuff. You can have an idea based on the standard that, as I said it before. Michael set a standard I have to try and make sure that my thing is on my level. T.O.K set a standard. I have to make sure that my standard is also on level. So it's not about dropping the standard. It's about maintaining or surpassing. That is exactly where I'm at. You know, I don't believe in doing. You know, I have to make sure that my music is on my level. No substandard stuff on here. Just everything that people can relate to and resonate, and you'll be seeing a whole lot more stuff. Like really, like you probably will see me do some more stand-up comedy as well. You're gonna see me go into production more as well. You're gonna see me probably doing more acting as well. You know, there's the Bartender series. You can check it out on YouTube. Hashtag the Bartender. You know, Expressions JA, and you see the Bartender series. It's actually pretty good. And sky's the limit, bro. Like just making sure I showcase all of what I can do. I've done stand-up before. I actually did stand-up comedy with Johnny Live here in Jamaica, and people loved it because I was able to showcase. Because my strong suit with the comedy is the impersonations. You know what I mean? Like that is my thing. Impersonations and mimicry. So you will hear me talk like an old man. Hey, you're sweet. I'm going to dash in and go find some yam pumpkin and banana and bring come cook for me. And they hear old lady, shut up your mouth, you have nothing about you. Your face is all fat. Go cook it yourself. What is wrong with you? You think I'm your slave? And they said, yam from that shit. What is wrong with you? Come that me. I will box you with my dentures, you know. You don't have nothing, you know. You're hot of an face. I live with you for 55 years. 55 and 11 months. 11 months and 55 years I live with your ugly backside. And not once you give me even a pity because it's powder in your sin thing. Nothing else is inside there to give nothing else to me. So you just move over there, so I'm going. You know?
Boss, listen, it's way too early to be dealing with this here. And again, you know what? Sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise. As you said, you were part of the group. You guys did amazing things, but there were still certain parts of you that you wanted to display and you couldn't really under the brand.
I had all this. I held back because of T.O.K. I kid you not. All of this, because funny enough, in the group, I was seen as a shy one. I was a quiet one for the most part. I was not the most outspoken. I was a quiet one. And I mean, I was shy, you know, and not very much. I mean, I would talk, but I wasn't the one who would be at the front say, yo, I have to say this, you have to see me. You're going to see me, I'll talk when it's my time to talk, but I was not the most assertive one then. You know what I mean? And that's cool. I mean, I was cool with us because I was really shy. And being in entertainment and music and stuff kind of helped to come out of that. And doing this bunch of different voices and personalities kind of shields that. You know what I mean? Kind of show that, okay, this is how you conceal that by being this. You know, this personality, that personality. You know, is a way to kind of do yourself and be yourself and still not show yourself, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So, but no, I mean, you have no choice but to be more outspoken. You have no choice but to take to the forefront and speak your mind and say stuff and showcase what you can do. I'm not a one-trick pony. I tell you already, I do see myself like a Jamie Foxx. Like just being able to can do all these different things and showcase all these different things means that when you're around me, you're never bored. And you watch when I don't want when people come to like an Alex show, you know, they get a journey. It's not just about music. I may probably go into some stand-up while I'm on the thing. Just to showcase something just a little bit different than what you normally would be used to. You know? I mean, I mean, I have major hype doing this stuff right now. All that I can do too. I mean, I practice all those different voices. Like I talk to myself sometimes. People think it's crazy, but it's a way to kind of act, hey boy, you will come listen to Muscle here on Muscle Entertainment now. We're going to party with the sauce now. We're going to party at the rare sauce straight, rare sauce. You know? Accents in my sleeve. In my sleeve. You know?
Well, after touring the world and you've seen so much, it's just you have a library of sounds, thoughts, and visions in your mind because you toured so much.
Yes, it's from you get so many different things from, and that's why even my work is such a diverse body of work. I call my album genre jumping because it has EDM, disco, dancehall, reggae, so many different things that encompass it because you want to showcase that, yeah, I'm not one thing and I love music in general, good music in general, you know what I mean? I even beatbox a little bit too. I don't practice that a lot, but I mean, I've done beatboxing too, because I mean, funny enough, Michael, he was doing an interview with Oprah where he did beatboxing. He did an interview with beatboxing. He was talking about the rhythm. It was, I think it was, who is it?
Yeah. Because is that the same one? Because to me, that was the craziest Michael Jackson interview where he's just sitting down talking, yeah.
Yes, that one.
To perform, he got up, went crazy, and then just sat back down like
Yeah, he's
like
a different person. You see, that's the thing. He's a completely different animal on stage and in person. Like, yeah, okay, perform. Boom. Completely different person. Yeah, and he sat there and he was like, sorry, he was saying to Oprah that he like in terms of he doesn't play many instruments, but he makes the sounds with his mouth. And he was saying like even with the what was it? The whistle is like dun, 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 dun. And he's like dun, 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 you know?
Alex, listen, don't say one more word. Let me give you an outro and get you out of here. Alex are crazy. And again, I'm glad that we got to sit down and do this long form conversation because again, you see a little 5 minutes to Alex here, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes, but you don't really get to sit down and see what's inside of your mind.
And make a conversation. This was definitely a conversation. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, people get a chance because not many people see this side at all. They don't see this side. They don't know I have all these things that are at my disposal. They don't. I'm not the kind of person to jump on shows. Hey, I can do this. Yeah. You know, and I can do this, but it's there.
It's there.
It's me just have to. It's just I have to delve more into it. It's there. So it's no, but I haven't really delved into it.
Mm-hmm. It's time. Thank you so very much for coming on today. Let me get your outro and get you out of here. All right. No problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out.
Big up.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.